It is Tuesday, which means we get to check in with the Unconventional Dietitian, Daphne Olivier. Daphne, thank you so much for joining us today.
Of course. Thank you for having me.
Of course. So we're talking about nutrients in relation to blood pressure.
Right. So normally whenever people talk about blood pressure, the first thing that comes to mind is salt and sodium.
Yeah.
And while an excessive amount of salt and sodium, usually that's the amount that would be through more processed type foods, that can contribute to hypertension. The little known fact is that other nutrient deficiencies can also be contributing factors.
Really?
So the nutrients magnesium and potassium are also related to the contribution of hypertension. And so several years ago, I don't know exactly, more than 10, maybe 15 or 20 years ago, a diet came out called the DASH diet, and it was the dietary approaches to stop hypertension. And in that diet, it really is just a real foods diet, but the two things that they focused on there were the increase of foods that are high in potassium. And so that's going to include things like bananas, potatoes, oranges, tomatoes. Those are high potassium foods.
Yeah.
And then also the increase of foods that are high in magnesium. So we've talked about magnesium before, the green leafy vegetables, nuts and seeds, those type of things, incorporating those into the diet on a regular basis can help with balancing and setting off the sodium that contributes to hypertension.
I had no idea that some nutrients could also correlate with the whole blood pressure thing, because you're right, we often think about sodium.
Right. So deficiencies, and there's not really a good way to measure those deficiencies. So they don't really get measured, that they don't really get talked about. But it's a combination of the increase in sodium and the decrease or the deficiency in magnesium and potassium.
I love these health conversations. And Daphne, if people at home have a health question for you, how can they contact you?
You can contact me three ways: through my website, The Unconventional Dietitian, or through Instagram or Facebook, which is also The Unconventional Dietitian.
Daphne, as always, thank you so much for joining us virtually to share some health knowledge with our viewers.